Today, we're going to discuss Kindleberger trap. Well, the idea of the Kindleberger trap developed by Charles Kindleberger. It may sound technical, but its core message is simple. The world runs smoothly only when someone is willing to take responsibility for keeping it stable. When no country steps off to play that role, global problems tend to spiral out of control. Think of the world like a shared compartment or apartment. If one responsible person takes care of cleaning, paying bills, and fixing issues, things function well. But if that person steps back and no one else takes charge, disorder quickly follows. And this is exactly what the Kindleberg trap describes at the global level. This problem first became clear after the World War I. At that time, United Kingdom was no longer strong enough to manage the global economy, while the United States, although powerful, chose not to lead. The result was the Great Depression, a period of massive economic collapse, rising trade barriers, and deep mistrust between nations. Eventually, this unstable environment contributed to the outbreak of World War II. Now, if we look at today's world, we can see some similar patterns, but also some important differences. For decades, the United States played the role of global stabilizer. It supported open trade, protected sea routes, and helped manage financial crisis. But in recent years, it has started focusing more on its own domestic priorities and less on the global leadership. At the same time, China has grown rapidly in economic and political power. It is building influence through projects like the Belt and Road Initiative and institutions such as the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. However, China is still cautious. It prefers limited selective leadership rather than taking full responsibility for global stability. And these create a gap, similar to what Kindleberg warned about. And we can already see the effects of this gap in different areas. Global trade rules are weakening, with institutions like the World Trade Organization struggling to enforce discipline. Climate change efforts, even under agreements like the Paris Agreement, remain slow and fragmented. During the COVID 19 pandemic, countries often acted alone instead of coordinating globally, which made the crisis harder to manage. However, today's world is not exactly like the 1930s, and this is where a new insight became important. Power is no longer concentrated in just one or two countries. Other players like India, the European Union, and the groups like the G20 are also influential. This means leadership does not have to come from a single country. It can be shared. But shared leadership is harder. It requires trust, cooperation, and coordination. And that is where the real challenge lies. Another modern twist is that today's global problems are more complex. Issues like climate change, digital security, artificial intelligence, and pandemics cannot be handled by one country alone. They require collective action, not just from the governments, but also from the businesses and international organizations. And this leads to a key takeaway. The Kindle Watch tab today is not just about the absence of a single leader. It is about the failure of countries to work together effectively. If major powers compete too aggressively, especially the United States and China, the world may split into rival groups. Trade could fragment, technology system could divide, and global cooperation could weaken further. In such a situation, crises would become more frequent and harder to solve. So, the Kindleberg tab teaches us an important lesson in very simple terms. Global stability is not automatic. Someone or a group of countries must actively maintain it. In today's interconnected world, the best solution may not be one dominant leader, but strong cooperation among many. The future of the world depends on whether countries choose rivalry or responsibility. So this is all about Kindleberg tab. I hope you understood the topic. Thank you for listening me.